So I would like to welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Sunil on the stage.
Thank you, Chanda, for hyping me up. Now people have great expectations, and I have to deliver. Nevertheless, my speech title, as she mentioned, is a beautiful equation. It's about mathematics, and I would like to take you back to your class 11, 12th grade, and I have a few questions for you before we start. Right? The first question: what is 1 plus 1?
2.
Good. Other books? Was it difficult? No, just let me know if it's difficult, okay? The next question. Okay, what's 1 plus 2 plus 3 if I just add it up till infinity? Infinity. Anybody else, any different answers? Minus 1 by 12. Very different answer. Anybody else? No? The correct answer is minus 1 by 12. So just Google it, right? It's minus 1 by 12. And this is what we're going to discuss today, right? How certain things come up and they make something very absurd. Now, if I ever tell you that there is a person who is a great leader or a very good leader, right? What are the personality traits you are looking forward to in that leader? Or what makes a very good leader?
Communication skills.
Communication skills.
Good listener.
Good listener, okay.
Good strategist.
Good strategist.
Courage.
Courage.
Good mentor.
Good mentor.
You should have goals.
Okay. Somebody with a vision, with goals, right?
Planning.
Planning,
Empathy.
empathy,
Innovative.
innovative. Right? So you might have heard whatever things we have laid down right now, whatever points we have mentioned, these all skills are usually non-qualitative or non-quantitative basically. These are all qualitative skills. You cannot directly measure it. I cannot say that he has very, very high empathy or level 10 empathy, right? Or he has level 1 empathy. Sometimes in life it's very difficult to define something or give it in a or contain it in a formula. But mathematics has been very, very weird all across life. So my next question to you all, right? Have you heard of the most beautiful equation?
Yes.
No.
Yes?
Yes.
You don't give the answer. Anybody else in the audience? I'll ask you at the last. Anybody else? Oh, you have Googled it?
No, I have read it in your speech title.
Okay, you have read it in my speech title. Cool. Anybody else who knows about the most beautiful equation?
No.
It is a proper beautiful equation. It's an equation. Okay, Akash, please go ahead.
E raised to I pi plus 1 equal to 0.
Okay. The most beautiful equation, okay, is this E raised to power I pi plus 1 equal to 0. Also known as Euler's equation. We Indians call it Euler's equation. Different ways of saying same stuff, right? But why is it called the most beautiful equation? Any idea? Any guesses? Basic funda hai. If you see here the first part of the equation, right? There are three not numbers. These are three weird things, right? E, I, pi. E is a transcendental number, right? Gross number we say. I is imaginary number. Pi is completely irrational, right? But somehow they're coming together to make something whole, right? 1 and 0 are whole numbers. They're coming together in some proportion, in some way, to make something new, to make something whole. And that's what leadership, communication, or in general life is, right? You would not know what exactly constitutes this, but you just take small proportions in a right way, and your life is whole. Your leadership journey would be whole. I would like to discuss few of the skills which I feel, in my personal opinion, is one of the important traits of being a good leader. Right? I will try to relate it to this equation. Right? The first one being courage. Right? I feel a good leader has to be very courageous. And it's very important. How many of you are engineers here? Almost everybody. So you go back to college days and remember the times when you had a fight. Are you picturing it? You're having a fight. The first thing you do, what's the first thing you do? If you go into a fight,
Blame others.
blame others, shout.
See who are the people in my team.
You call people in my team. The first thing you do is you call everybody up. Bhai, if you had a fight, come, right? You go into a fight because you know you have a good backing, right? The courage of doing such stuff, right? I'm pretty sure right now if you have a fight on a road, if you have a road rage right now, you might just want to take it away, right? You're just going to go, okay, let's cancel it out, right? Okay, I am sorry, and let's go away, right? But during college, we were so courageous. We can fight with a 6 feet tall guy, right? Or somebody who was great in the college, somebody has influenced the college. Why? Because we have a backing. And that's very important, right? Courage is something which can be inculcated. It's not something that you are born with, right? If you do certain things, if you are backed up properly, you become courageous. And that's what a good leader does. They back their team. They make their team courageous so that they can take such bold steps which nobody else would think about, right? They give them the opportunity to fail. You need to fail so that you become successful later on. And if you've seen in Toastmasters as well, right? We say this, there's a motto in Toastmasters, we say it's an opportunity, it's a platform where you fail first. You practice, you fail first here so that you can go out in your personal life or your professional life and you succeed there. And that's very important. Have you seen that song called, the video of the song, Big Dogs by Hanuman Kind? Nobody? Nobody is? Okay. Go back and see it. The song is called Big Dogs by Hanuman Kind. So it basically depicts a circus where you have a big well where the bikes and the cars are going around in that well. Have you seen that in the circus? Right?
Yes.
It goes on. Do you think they might be able to do it because they are courageous?
It requires practice.
They require the knowledge of physics, but they might have done it 1,000, 10,000 times with a safety net before. Right? They might have practiced it before, at least 1,000, 10,000 times. Then they became courageous. What we see is the final product, right? So when you fail initially, when you become courageous, when a good leader comes in and they give you that opportunity to fail, to learn more and more, to practice more and more, then you become courageous. And that's what makes a good leader. So if you want to become a good leader, be courageous. Back it up. Back your team as much as possible. Make your team very courageous so that they start to do something which is very out of the world. I'll give you an example what happened during the Toastmasters event. A couple of years back, one of the area directors, they were organizing an area event, right, area contest. And at the last moment, tomorrow is the contest, at the last moment, the venue partner, they cancelled. They said, we cannot host it. Right? Now you imagine that, for example, today we are going to have this meeting and the venue says, no, we cannot do it right away. Right? As a leader, you become very, very anxious now. Right? What should we do? But at that point of time, the division director came in and they said, don't worry about it, I have a backup. You can host it in my organization. Right? That made that person a little bit more safe. Right? And that person went on to become the district director of our district of Toastmasters International. Right? That's what makes it a good leader. Backing your team up, making sure that you try out everything you can, but in case there is a problem, I will help you out. I will back you up. So the first quality I feel for being a good leader is always courageous. So you can consider courageous as something which is very bad. Many people think that you are born with, but it's not that. You can always inculcate it, right? That's I. The next quality which I feel is very important for being a good leader is innovation, being innovative. And I'll tell you why. Right? You might have met a lot of good managers. Everybody has a manager. In the IT profession, in every organization, there is a manager. Right? But not every manager is a good leader. Agreed on this? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes? A good manager is not always a good leader, but a good leader can always become a good manager. Right? And you don't need to have a manager title to become a good leader. Right? If you see the great leaders we have seen across our times, right? Name any. Let's say Steve Jobs, right? Or Narayan Murthy, or anybody in the world, right? They thought of something innovative, they brought it to the world and they backed it up and then they became the leaders which we currently see, right? Innovation is very, very important. You can always keep on doing the same task again and again, right? There's a rating in the business cycle which we say achieved whatever was required, right? Satisfactory. Because you are doing whatever is required out of you. You are not doing something which is new. So bringing that innovation is very, very important. That's what differentiates you from other leaders or other managers. I'll give an example. What happened a couple of years back. Again, from the Toastmasters International, okay, what we are trying to do. So the biggest problem in any of the event in Toastmasters is starting the meeting on time. We never do it on time because people are people. They take their own sweet time to come in, and meeting usually starts late. Okay, so there was an event which was going on, and it was paid, right? So we collected 50 rupees from everybody, but the venue was free, but we still collected the money. And 2 days before the contest, we announced anybody who comes in 15 minutes prior to the contest, to the start of the event, will refund their money back. And everybody was on time. Just a small idea, right? To solve a bigger problem. And this is not only for Toastmasters, you go anywhere, right? Usually the meeting is always a little bit late. Either a couple of minutes late, 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late. If it's a very huge event, right? Half an hour late because the celebrity didn't come in. It happens, right? But a small change in the way it was perceived and the way it was executed made the whole difference, right? An innovative idea to start the meeting on time and end on time. You might have seen recently a lot of controversy came around 2 concerts. One was Diljit's concert, one was Coldplay's concert. Right? Diljit's comment saying that okay, India doesn't have the good infrastructure to do it, and then Coldplay pulls off the biggest concert ever in Ahmedabad. Right? Just the way it was executed, the innovative ways of doing it, right? The planning, the strategy, that's important. So if you want to differentiate yourself from other managers you have in the organization or in life, right? You want to become that great leader that people would remember you, you have to be innovative. Bring in those ideas which people are just thinking of but have never executed and try to do it. And this is the best platform to do it. This Toastmasters platform is the best platform to do it. To try out different stuff. If you think your club is facing a problem, try exploring it, try seeing if we can do it in a different way and see if it helps. Right? So innovation will differentiate you from any other leader in the market. Right? And most importantly, you need to have a growth mindset. When I say growth mindset, to learn and grow. Right? That's very, very important. You cannot be stagnant at any point of time. You cannot. If your one idea works, bring in another idea. See if you could disrupt the whole flow and bring in some kind of adventure or some kind of new ideas to the club where people who feel that kind of excitement whenever they come into the meeting, right? But you need to do it in a certain proportion. That's very important, right? That's very important. You cannot just have everything in abundance and then start doing it every now and then. Change is the only constant, right? But once you start doing change every meeting, that becomes a constant and people will start feeling monotonous, right? We have a certain way of doing our meetings, right? Prepared speech followed by table topics and evaluation. But every now and then, every 5th meeting or 10th meeting, if you do it differently, right? People come up, people turn up every now and then. Because now they see that something new is happening, let's try it out. Right? So you need to have that growth mindset to bring in that change every now and then. And once you start doing it more often, you would see that this is something which will make your whole experience a good, whole, complete experience. So that's why it's important that not everything needs to be quantified. You cannot give a number to everything. You will not be able to do it. But somehow if you bring it together, you will make something whole. And this philosophy of E is for I plus 1 is not only restricted to leadership, as I mentioned earlier, right? You can apply it to anything in life. Your whole life, your love life, your relationship, your communication journey, right? Try applying it and you would see that few things doesn't make sense, but if you do it rigorously, properly, it will start making sense over time. When I joined Toastmasters in 2011, and it's a very funny story because I never heard of Toastmasters and I joined Toastmasters in Ludhiana. There was only one club and the next club was in Delhi at that point of time. There was no club nearby. It was a very alien concept, right? But I remember I was just having tea in our college and A beautiful girl from the electronics department, she came in, what are you doing on Sunday? I said nothing. Let's go. I thought it was a date. Right? It turned out to be a Toastmasters meeting. She was giving membership and she just lured me in. But what I realized after a couple of meetings that it might help me in my placement. That was my initial motivation to be in Toastmasters. Right? And it helped me out. I got a college placement from there. Right? Initially I had that small break because once I got a placement, I just thought, yeah, life is over. Let's leave it. Right? Full enjoy. Right? I joined Toastmasters. I joined my organization here in Infosys, Bangalore. Couple of months back, I saw again there's a flyer came in, and I joined back, and I found a lot of good friends, a great network. As a systems engineer, right? When I was only a couple of years in the whole organization, I got to meet the CEO of the organization. Not a lot of people usually get to meet, and I had a one-on-one conversation with him because I was in Toastmasters and we were trying to deliver him or showcase our newsletter to him. Right? So great opportunities came in. But I'll tell you the point where I realized, okay, this is something which has helped me in the longer run. So I was interviewing for a data science company, right? And in my HR round, the HR asked me, hey, everybody knows Python. It's not difficult. ChatGPT has come in. Everybody can code now, right? Everybody knows Tableau. Everybody knows machine learning algorithms. There are a lot of courses outside. What do you bring to the table? And I didn't have a good answer to it at that point of time, but it clicked me. Okay, while I was started giving my answer, that number usually doesn't make sense to the business people, right? Until unless you make sense out of it. If I just simply write 1 plus 2 plus 3, right? If you cannot take out the business value from it, you will not be able to sell it to anybody, especially the business folks, right? You need to make sense of whatever you have built. You make financial models, you make great LLMs, right? But if you cannot bring in business value, it's of no use. So I said, I can do it. I can make sense to the numbers. I can communicate well. I can be a good storyteller around the numbers. And that's what I possess. If I make something, I'm pretty sure that it will be deployed.
Still, at the first point when we are laying down the idea, it may still sound complex. How to simplify any innovative idea and present it in a palatable way?
Okay. See, especially in organizations, right, it's very difficult to bring in change, right? If you have that influence that you can bring in that change, you can do it. Initially, you might have to do it forcefully, right? But Toastmasters is a good thing that people are voluntarily doing it, so you can always implement it first here and then see if it works, right? But if you're planning to implement it in your team, I'll start with doing one thing at a time rather than doing number of things again, right? Probably you can start with the cross-team collaboration initially, and then start with the mentoring. The next step can be mentoring, rather than just doing it again. Again, the bigger problem becomes because there are a lot of junior resources who have just joined in from the college. They don't understand it very easily, right? How this would help. I'll give an example when you might have seen this. I mean, when you're going to office, the number of productive hours you have out of 8 is usually 4 to 5. The rest of the time you either network, over tea, go for lunch, talk to your colleague, right? That's how the time usually passes by. You do not utilize all 8 hours working, right? That's the correct way of depiction? Yes, no? Yes, right? So when I was, there were a lot of new users who came from IITs and everybody, right? And whenever we were asking them to come to office, they were usually frustrated. Why? Because they felt that they were not being at their productive peak when they come to office, right? But it was an organizational change. Everybody was asked to come in, so they were coming in, right? So you might have to do it in that form initially. That you might have to force them or ask them that you have to do it. Probably learn from them. Okay, even if you're not implementing it, learn from them whatever they're doing, right? And let's have a session later on. What you have understood. This helps in a longer run. So for very junior resources who are alien to these concepts, right, probably starts implementing it by force or by just telling them, okay, that you have to do it, right, as part of your job. And then start with senior resources, asking them to mentor these junior resources about what exactly they need to do. Right? But I always feel this, instead of doing it directly in the organization, do it first here. They're low risk in Toastmasters. in the organization, right, in your job, it can be anywhere. Let's say you have a family, you have to probably, put your efforts there, right? But that should also have a growth mindset, right? That either your kids are growing properly, they are learning something new, right? You are learning something new in parenting, or while you are in Toastmasters, you are giving different kind of speeches, or when your organization, you are trying out different skills, right? But you need to keep on doing it again and again, right? Every now and then. So one of my directors usually does it, and he says to me that I interview every year or so. Okay, I give an interview. Even if I'm not telling the organization, he has been with the organization for 18 odd years now, so he's not left it. But he always gives an interview just to see is he employable right now or not. If he goes into the market, will somebody employ him? And that can give you a push to understand if you are in that on the right track of having that growth mindset or not. So you need to upskill yourself, learn something new. If you feel that okay, the same skills you have been doing or same stuff you have been doing for over a year or so, right? It's time to change. Either in the organization it becomes very difficult to change a project or something like that, right? But you can always learn something new and try out those automation or those new skills in your current project and see if it can work. Right? But you need to time and again start doing it more and more, right? And that push needs to come from you rather than from the organization. This is something which you need to have. Not anybody else can push you to have that kind of skill.
How about the people whom we were talking about, people working with us, around us, our team members, who are like, they are very happy with what they are doing.
See, that's it's very difficult to sometimes say, right? How can you inculcate a growth mindset into somebody else, right? It needs to be infectious. I think there are many ways of doing it. Probably one of the way would be leading the way, right? You start learning something new, right? And you tell your team that okay, I have tried it. Can you also try it in the project which you are doing it, right? I have automated this step. I am not a Java guy. I'm a Java guy. I don't know Python, but I learned Python, and I saw that okay, this process can be streamlined via automation, right? See the code which I have built. Can you do it similar to your project, right? Now it becomes a challenge for them. They have to learn something, right? Either they do using ChatGPT anyway, right? But they will learn something new and then they will implement it, right? You might have to lead them, right, for them, so that they learn from you. They see that okay, you are doing it at let's say 10 years of experience or 15 years of experience, just still learning something new and implementing it. What's stopping them? And then probably they start picking it up and they start doing it. They might not do it for the first time, you do it, but yes, there are certain things which are very infectious. Okay, you see somebody doing something great and you might want to implement it, seeing that person, not just copy them. Right? That also can work. Yes.
We can build courage in others by motivating them. How do we build courage for ourselves as leaders?
Again, the people around you, they need to back you up. Right? So in those cases, the tagline says where leaders are made, right? So, for example, Kumar has become the president this term, right? But the previous term president does not provide a KT to her, right? Or does not tell her, that, okay, you have to do this, right? This is how you can manage your team. These are your responsibilities. Or example, you don't have a TLI. So TLI is a training for all the club officers. If you don't have such things, you will not be backed up. And backing is not only based on somebody just standing behind you or backing you up. Backing you up with the abundance of knowledge, understanding how the process works, right? That also gives you courage. If you know a certain process in and out properly, if somebody gives you that same process, you will be able to crack it. Because you now know everything about it, right? You don't need somebody to back you up. So either learn on your own as much as possible, right? And surround yourself with people who can probably help you out as much as possible. That's how you become courageous. Or practice it. Again, the same thing. Practice and practice.